Let me make sure it's working. Okay, we might be, we might not. Let's see. We're live. All right.
Oh man.
Hey, this is Ty.
And I'm Joe.
And we back. Bonus episode style.
Teacher Appreciation Week winners. Hey.
Right. We had to come give y'all a little something extra, just as we celebrate, teachers all month long, the whole month of May. We know last week was the designated Teacher Appreciation Week, but it just felt right to come on Monday motivation, little motivation for the Monday for your Monday afternoon.
And we need it.
Yeah, and you know what? What's better than giving something away? What's better than that?
Receiving it?
No. You know the old saying, it's better to give than to receive. You know that.
Woo! Well, then we're gonna be feeling mighty good.
That's right. So, before we get into that, Joe, I just wanted to stop real quick and just ask you, how was your Teacher Appreciation Week? Did you feel appreciated as an educator?
I feel like I'm supposed to say yes, but my gut answer was like, no.
Oh.
Like, I feel like...
Tell them why you're mad.
I'm mad because I don't get no discounts.
Listen, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It was really hard for me to find deals. I thought they were just gonna be overflowing. But more than that, because deals aside, I think teachers did a great job of appreciating teachers. But I wanted to see non-teachers appreciating teachers. Where my admin at? I stumbled upon this post that said, "It's all right if you didn't get wined and dined by your admin." I'm a teacher and I appreciate you. And I just felt like, yeah, we just got to go around appreciating each other, because not only is it Teacher Appreciation Week, but it's also Nurses Appreciation Week, which is super important. But I'm like, why don't nurses have their own week and teachers have their own week, so we can all just be celebrated in full, full. So, this year, Teacher Appreciation Week, it always falls on Cinco de Mayo. So I felt real appreciated because I went in, and so I treated myself to a nice meal.
Treat yourself. Okay.
What about you?
I felt very much appreciated. I got a few shout outs from a couple, IG handles. So I just, I just felt like in the midst of this pandemic, and as an educator, there were some people throwing a little shade our way, talking about how teachers shouldn't be getting paid right now, how teachers aren't truly working, how, teachers are getting off easy because the parents are doing the teaching. And, I hear that hate. I hear that. But many of us, as you mentioned, in the education community, we celebrated ourselves. So I just appreciated that, because it's nice to get a little thanks here and there. And you don't do this job for the accolades. It's a thankless job in many ways. Sometimes you get it from the students, you get it from the parents, you get it from the admin. So just know that a few people appreciate you is nice. But of course, you gotta appreciate yourself. Yes. Appreciate yourself. So, exactly. So I'm just happy to be an educator. It means a lot, because we all have educators that have impacted our lives. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, right?
Absolutely. But before we get into those educators, we want to show some appreciation for our teacher winners.
Hey.
Calling it a nice little extension. Teacher Appreciation Week extension.
What are they going to win, Joe? Tell them what they're going to win.
You are going to win a $25 giftly, because we think you should spend the money to treat yourself. We don't know what you want right now. We don't know what that is. Hashtag treat yourself. Hashtag nobody knows what you want better than you.
You got to have self-care during the pandemic. So whatever it is, Listen, we're not here to judge. It could simply be some bubble bath. It could be, maybe you order out, or
maybe you get a little drizzly.
Well, I was gonna say maybe you pour it up. You know what I mean? A little sip. Oh, it's after 5, isn't it? Even on a Monday.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
5 o'clock somewhere, indeed.
And it's well past here, so right on time.
Right, we're on East Coast time. East Coast time. Let's get right into it. I don't want to hold up the process anymore, and I know people are eagerly waiting, and patiently waiting to see who won before we shoulder shimmy. For those of you listening right now, you just missed a whole shimmy, just a whole shoulder shake. You missed that thing.
Oh my goodness, I'm too hyped.
I know. Let's do it. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see, because it just feels right as a teacher that we use our teacher tools. So one of the tools that I use in my classroom a lot is the wheelofnames.com. So if you're a teacher, it doesn't matter right now if you're digital, it's a perfect tool to use, because you can write down all of your students' names in a class and you can pull up on the wheel. And I use this sometimes as a way of making sure that we keep everyone involved in the discussion and conversation in class. Sometimes I use it like right now to be able to give away a little praise or a little shout out, or in this case, give away a little gift card. So are we ready to spin?
We ready to spin!
Hit it!
That wheel!
Woo, let's see who's the winner.
Ooh, I forgot.
Looks like we have. Hey!
Woo! Clang, getting paid over here. Clang.
Shout out to @Clang1217. I hope I'm saying that right. It's @CLANG 1217. You are our winner.
Woo! Cheers.
That's right.
Clang.
You know what, Joe? Let me put it back on the screen. Put us back on the screen. I don't know about you. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great.
Feeling great. Yeah.
I said we dip back in and give one more person a win.
Are you saying we double it up?
I mean, I just in a given mood. I feel like we should do it.
You know what? You're right. It feels good to give. It feels good to give. And there's 2 of us. Let's give it to 2.
Hey, it takes 2 to make the thing go right. It takes 2 to make the thing go right. Here we go. Oh, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Let's run it back one more time.
Run it back.
One more again, as they say down south. One more again.
Let's see.
All right. Can we get a drum roll, please? Let's see who it is.
Oh, come on. Money on red.
Did I stick my name in there? Did I put my name in? No, I didn't put my name in.
I would have gotten money.
Hey.
Let's go, Miss Williams.
Okay. Our second winner is @Miss Williams _. So @MISSWILLIAMS _.
Mrs. Williams.
Shout out.
Woo! We got 2 winners. And you know what? I'm feeling so giving. I don't know about you, but I think we might have more stuff to give away upcoming this week.
Okay. I was getting ready to say, I thought you was about to triple dip.
Nah.
You say that's too much dip on your chip now. That's too much dip on your chip.
Woo! Nah. But I think we might be able to give a little more a little later.
Okay. You gonna tell them about it right now? Or you want to hold that till later?
No, we gonna hold it. We gonna draw them in. We gonna draw them in. Just a
little bit. Just a little hook.
Oh my goodness, that was awesome. I feel like actually, if you ask me right now how I felt about teacher appreciation, I'd just be like, yes, because I just appreciated others that are in this profession. And I don't care what anybody says. I know teachers are working right now. I know. And if there aren't teachers who aren't working, if there are teachers who aren't working, they are not the majority. And I'm not going to let them speak for the many of us who are working our behinds off to make sure we are making a difference during this
Mhm.
time and keeping education going, because the learning never stops and school is in session.
Like a stopwatch, learning never stops.
Hey!
Okay. T-shirt coming soon. T-shirt coming soon. Okay. T-shirt coming soon. Merch on the way.
Woo! But speaking of teacher appreciation, Ty,
Mm.
take us back one time. Tell us a story.
Mm. Story time with Ty.
Teacher. Oh, I like that. Ty,
Okay.
tell the story.
Ty,
What
tell
is
a
it
story.
called? Alliteration. English teacher, help me.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. You're on the right track, but we may need to just go back over that lesson one more time. But let me go into this real quick. I just want to tell you guys a story because all week Joe and I have had conversations, not just with ourselves, but through social media. We've been connecting and building with a lot of other educators, especially through Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you're following us right there at 2B Podcast. And I think back to when I was just a young pup in 7th grade, sitting in the classrooms of Chestnut Accelerated Middle School in Springfield, Massachusetts. Shout out to the 413.
Smart.
Yes. I was in the TAG program, the Talented and Gifted program. So that's just a small flex, But one of the things that I'm really passionate about in education is promoting and elevating Black men to be educators. And a lot of that thought comes and is derived from one person, and his name is Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas was my 7th grade math teacher, algebra teacher. But let me take a step back. As a young 12, 13-year-old at Chestnut, I didn't really know all the ways that the education system worked and how teachers, moved in and out of positions. All I know is that I started the year with a young lady as my teacher. And, unfortunately for her, but fortunately for me in terms of my inspiration and aspirations, she went on pregnancy leave. And what I found out later is that she had some complications during her pregnancy. Thank God her daughter, who's now an adult, is healthy, so everything ended up well. So that's a positive of that story. But due to her going on a pregnancy, we only had her as a teacher for just the first month of the year. So you think about education, that first month of the year, it's not a lot of content as much as it's, creating routines and procedures, relationship building, exactly, where you're trying to connect with your students. So we did that with her to a certain extent, and then she left. I remember there was, a few substitutes that we had for maybe a week or so, and then came in this man who changed my life. And he walked in. I still remember the first few days because every day of the week that man had on a fresh suit. I didn't know if he was a preacher on the side, okay, a lawyer. I was like, man, this man's wearing a suit. And teachers, they dressed very well, but they didn't wear a suit every day. That was reserved for the principal. But this man came in a shirt. Crisp white shirt, blue suit, black suit, shoes polished to the nines.
Ain't nothing like a man in a suit, let me tell you.
Dressed to the nines. And more so than that, he was young. And that's really what surprised me. And so, most of my teachers were older, and by older, when you're 12 or 13, 30 seems old. You know what I mean? So he was young, fresh and fly. And Mr. Thomas made an immediate impact.
It's like I like my Black men. Yes,
Mr. Thomas made an immediate impact on not just myself, but my classmates. And he did so because he built a lot of relationships. So yes, he taught us algebra, but at the same time, he would invite some of us to stay during lunch, to eat lunch with him and talk with him. And then he went out of his way to after school. We would come by after school and just talk shop with them, talk sports, talk about girls that we were feeling. Because, when you in 7th grade, girls is on the top of your mind. You're like, Mr. Thomas, I'm about to holler.
In 7th grade? I didn't realize.
Say what?
I said that stops in 7th grade?
No, I said at the top of your mind, the top of your mind. So, Mr. Thomas used to give us, a little advice. He was kind-hearted, but more so than that, he just really listened to us. And him listening to us and just hearing us out, it made us feel like our voices were heard. And for the first time for me, I had, I want to say, if not all, maybe 95% of my teachers were white women, and then just a few white males. And that was my very first. And what I would find out, I would learn later, was my only Black male teacher, K through 12. Wow. My only Black male teacher. So I have never forgotten Mr. Thomas. And more importantly, what I found out later on, because my mother works in school, she's an educator as well, so that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. I happened to go into a school that she was working in when I was in college, and who do I see coming into the main office?
No.
Mr.
No.
Thomas. Mr. Thomas. And I remember Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas, is that you, brother? And to my surprise, he looked at me and he said, "Forgive me for not remembering your name, but I know I had you at Chestnut." And I said, "Mr.
Wow.
Thomas." And this had to be, at least 8, 9, 10 years later. And Mr. Thomas remembered me. And I just really thanked him for being an inspiration to me. And at that time, I hadn't gotten into the education field yet, but I let him know that was something that I planned on pursuing. He really encouraged me and told me that he remembers those conversations that we had. And one thing that really stuck out to me, and this as an educator now, I can't thank him enough, was that I learned at the time when he was my teacher, he was actually just a long-term substitute. So all of that time that he spent outside of the normal classroom time was by his own volition. He did that out of the kindness of his heart. He was not getting paid. It was not mandated. He could have went home right at dismissal. As soon as the bell rang, bags packed, he could have been in the parking lot.
Shoot, he probably didn't even have to wait. Half these subs don't wait.
True.
The bell
rang. He said that he decided then and there when he saw all the young black kids, especially the black boys in his class, that he had to invest in us. And the best way he knew how was just to have conversation. And he shared with me in that conversation in the main office that it was because of that year spending with us that solidified to him that, he should be an educator. Wow. And so he continued to be a teacher beyond that point. So Mr. Thomas, if you're listening to this, shout out to you, man. Hopefully I'll run into you again sometime soon, because I wouldn't be here sitting in this chair as a black male educator if it had not been for you. So shout out to you, Mr. Thomas.
Wow, that is beautiful. And I got to say, he clearly made a difference, because a lot of the things you said he's doing, I've watched you with my own eyes do with the students that we share at Madison Park Technical Vocational High School.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Joe.
I watch you have lunch with them. I watch you coach them for Boston Debate League. I watch you just be a resource, listen to their stories, laugh with them, and truly engage with them. So yes. I believe that you are paying it forward the same way that Mr. Thompson did in you.
Indeed. Thank you.
And here's the thing. If you were inspired, like I was, by hearing Ty's story, we feel that you also have a story. It's not just one of us that have a story. We've all gone through K through 12, and there's somebody who has impacted your life. And we want to hear about it. We want you to share it with us. We truly, truly do. Because this is Teacher Appreciation Week, and too often we neglect to go back and really think about those who shaped the foundation of who we are right now, whether you went into education or not. I believe that we all have a teacher that truly was like, hey, I believe in you, and helped you then believe in yourself. And we want you to tell us just who that person is. And there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it through sending us a message on Anchor, or you can record your face and we can see it, and you can just send that to us via our Gmail account. But I was really excited earlier, and I said, might have a little extra giveaway for y'all, and I wasn't playing.
Say what? Say what?
Say what? Say what? Say what? So listen, if you tell us about a teacher you appreciate, we are entering you in a raffle for more, we're not going to say, but for more cash money prizes. And we are also,
give away kings and queens over here.
You will also maybe be featured on our podcast. So,
shoot.
All you got to do is show some appreciation. You do something for free that makes you feel good and makes somebody else feel good. And we might just bless you with a little bit of cash and a feature on our show.
Bless up.
It is a bless up if I've ever heard one, right? Because it
Absolutely.
feels good to show appreciation. It truly does. It's one of the things that you can do to make yourself feel better. while also making somebody else feel better. So show a little appreciation. Keep the teacher appreciation spirit going this whole month of May, and we're going to pay it forward.
You know, Joe, I think to that point, one of the reasons we talked about before we started this podcast that we wanted to go into this is because we felt like we need to elevate the voices of many educators who are not heard. And one of the things that I think we recognize in our society today is that, yes, everybody has a platform, right? You can create a social media account and you can speak your mind, but how many people are listening, right? And we wanted to create a space where people can come and be informed, be educated, and listen to the voices of those who are in the trenches, right? Not only just the teachers, but those who work in policy work, those who are doing programming in regards to student advancement and improvement. We want to elevate all of those voices so that we have a space where people feel included and they feel like their voices are heard, so that it's not just oh, okay, we heard that, and then on to the next. We're truly invested in our community. That's why we're called 2B, Two Black Educators, right? The name speaks for itself.
Here we are. Here we are. So please help us in delivering our message by you raising your voice. Let us utilize our platform to also raise your voice and your appreciation during this time.
Absolutely.
So we're to be, yes.
What about your story though? We can't have my story without your story. We got to hear from you. There's got to be some educator that has been impactful in your life that you want to tell us about. It's only right.
Thank you. Okay. I'll tell a story. This story goes back to my 5th grade teacher, Diane Bonjour.
Okay.
And at the time, I was bouncing around schools. The institution I was attending before, unfortunately, closed. And oh my God, I will tell you, I got the best. It was called Jeni Christian School, and I had the best educators there. And because of them, I was ahead in everything. And so I ended up skipping a grade. But that aside, I get to school and I am bored out of my whole entire mind. And I don't know if I've ever told you my 4 Bs. My 4 Bs.
I haven't. Share it with us.
All right, here we go. Boredom breeds bad behavior.
Oh man, say that again. That's true.
Boredom breeds bad behavior.
Without question.
Without question. Let me tell you, I was the first one. I was bored. Bored. I tell you. So what did I have? Bad behavior. So this school, Redlands Adventist Academy, was basically all white people. I think I had 2 educators of color in the whole thing, and I don't remember. And 3 students of color. Annie and Kyle. I can't believe I remember their names. But so I'm there and my behind is getting suspended left and right. Incident report, just all of the time. And it was this one 5th grade teacher who allowed me to be rambunctious and express myself and didn't suspend me, and instead found alternative ways to engage me in the material, to find different ways to make me feel part of the class, to make me feel like a helper, to extend my knowledge. And she used to say, you know what, Joellen, you have diarrhea of the mouth, but I still love you.
There's still some love on the end of that.
And the truth is, to this day, I still have it. Like, she coined it, and I'm like, you ain't wrong. You aren't wrong. But she loved me for it. She said, this is who you are, and that's okay. How do I teach you? How do I keep you learning? How do I love you for who you are and keep you in the classroom? Because you don't deserve to be sent out because you're moving, because you're energetic. You're in 5th grade. Like,
Right. Right.
and so she was actually the first person. I remember this after a parent teacher conference. She and my mom were standing outside of her classroom, and she goes, you would make an excellent teacher. And I said, yeah, all right. I ain't got nobody's patience and I will never become an educator. So thanks, but no thanks. Like, absolutely not. And I remember that, just really having that, like, no, I'm never going to be an educator. And obviously she was right. Here I am, an educator, but she showed me what it looks like to have somebody who you're like, oh my goodness, this student is so intelligent, so capable, and doesn't yet know how to control all of their feelings, and they're expressing it in a way that's less than productive. However, they don't deserve to be punished for that. How do I use that to cultivate them, to help them become the learner that they want to be? And Miss B did that in me. And that's why I believe that it can be done in any student. And it just requires that extra work, that extra time, and especially that extra love. And she truly did show me. And the truth is, I, unfortunately, not being on social media, have not been able to contact her. And as I endeavor to have you please shout out your teachers, I will be doing my due diligence in working to get back in contact with her, to tell her how she has truly blessed me and made such a difference. Because it's not something I could appreciate when I was in 5th grade.
Right.
But as an adult, looking back, my God, was I fortunate. She saw
something in you. She saw something in you. Even before you saw it yourself, sounds like.
Oh, well before I saw it in myself. Well before.
That sounds like the mark of a fantastic, phenomenal educator.
Oh, she was so dope. Like, I could keep it going, but yes.
And I think
that's those feelings. Ooh.
That's one of the things that a lot of people who are not in the education field don't really understand. They can't grasp the fact that, you pour into your students each and every year. Yes. And depending on what grade level you teach, you may or may not see that come to fruition. A lot of times, if you're a K-5 teacher, a middle school teacher, even 9th and 10th grade, you don't get a chance to really see it come to fruition when they graduate high school or begin their careers, go off to college. If you're fortunate enough, your students will find you and reach back and share those momentous occasions with you. I can just share real quick. I was so blessed that my 2nd year of teaching was in Orlando, Florida, at a school called Walker Middle School. And I still have so many fond memories from that place. So many of my former colleagues I'm still in touch with, great friends. But one of the things that really, really has made my May a phenomenal month is that some of my former students reached back and told me, they shared with me their college acceptances as they were preparing for their virtual graduation. And it brought me to tears, because I was like, man, I had you in 8th grade. And you remembered Mr. A? Oh, man. Right. So it just brought, so much joy to my heart to see them succeeding, and so many of them going to phenomenal schools. I'm just so proud. I'm just so proud of the work that they've done and the people that they've become.
Absolutely. And it's like, you need to plant seeds. That's what I say. We are planting seeds. You may not see it. It's just like when you plant something. You don't see it immediately. You don't water it, come back, and it's like, oh, wow, it's the whole tree. No. Right. You may not be able to see all that you have done, but if you plant that seed and you water it, hopefully in time, when they are ready, it will sprout.
Right. Absolutely.
But a seed that's not there can't.
No.
Can't. So please, people.
Joe, I want to just thank you for sharing that story, and please do reach out to your old teacher. Let her know that you are thankful, and as in your own words, you have been blessed by her presence in your life. I think I'm going to try to reach out to Mr. Thomas, see if I can track him down, see if he's still in the Springfield, Massachusetts area. If you're listening and you know Mr. Thomas, reach out to me. I know some of my Chestnut classmates are probably watching and listening, and we can work together to see if we can get a hold of Mr. Thomas. So we will do that.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Maybe we can get him on the show. That would be even greater.
Fangirling about something I don't even know.
Joe, what else did you want to share? Anything else?
No, nothing else. Oh, yes. hey, we gonna be on Thursday at 7 p.m. You
That's
need
right.
to tune in. You need to tune in. The appreciation is continuing. So please make sure you tune in 7 p.m. on Thursday right here. We'll be here. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you're following us on all social media at 2B Podcast so that you know when we're going live, because we just be surprising people popping up.
Exactly.
So until next time, remember
to be good to yourself,
to be true to yourself,
to educate
yourself.
Peace.
Bye.